Hi, Diamond Girls. Do you want to get exactly what it is you desire in life? Do you want to find the right relationship and have a life that really aligns with your values and what you want? Are you looking for a man to create a wonderful life with? You want a wonderful relationship, or maybe you're in a relationship currently and you want to improve it. You want to feel something more or different. Well, today I'm going to tell you exactly how to get what you want in life, in particular with relationships and just in life, what you're really going for in life. I'm going to share with you my personal secrets about how to get what you want in your life. I'm going to share some really important stories of myself and some of those of my clients. And I'm just so happy we can be here and talk about this today. It is such an important topic. There are so many topics on law of attraction and really calling forth the right person and manifestation and things like this. And there's a little bit of that in here. But in New Man Manifesto, which is a course I've taught for years, it's on my website. I really teach you the most important parts of the piece of this puzzle, and getting what you want in life is knowing what it is and knowing what it feels like and exercising that. So, I'm going to talk with you about that, and I'm going to share an especially powerful tip at the end of this video. I do not want you to miss this. It is about pain. The topic of this video is sex, money, and pain, getting what you want in life. And pain is something we often overlook in choosing our partners and getting what we want in life. We overlook it. We overlook the importance of pain. I'm going to talk more about that towards the end. Now, if this is live, I always love it when you can give me a thumbs up on this video. Let me know that you can hear me, and feel free to drop me a message in the comments. I'll be taking your questions towards the end of this video. So please do take a moment to do that. I love hearing from you. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to talk about getting what you want in a relationship in life. Let's start with sex. Sex is very important. Now, for those of you who are like, I'm waiting to have sex until I'm married, or I'm not going to have sex with someone until I'm married, I want you to not challenge your faith or your reasons about this, but I want you to just hear what I'm saying about it because it's very, very important. So, there are some things about sex that make humans feel so good, connected to this planet, connected to our partner, our purpose, our closeness. Some of these things are found very strongly in sex. And sexual alignment, a little bit of chemistry, of trusting one another, being vulnerable with each other, wanting to please one another. These are some really important components, but I'm going to go a little further than that. I want you to think about whether or not you're willing to spend your life with someone that you are not sexually compatible with. So think about how much sex means to you. Think about how good it feels. Think about not just the actual act of sex, but the things that go into it beforehand. You know, foreplay, loving each other, being tender with one another, being playful, and being open to new experiences with each other. So think about what goes into that. Now, I will tell you from my own life experience, I've talked about this before. I had a man that I was engaged with sometime right out of college, and I knew what I wanted in a partnership. I wanted to be married. He had a good career. He was making good money. I was out of college, so I needed health insurance. He had health insurance. We got engaged. He was a little tight with money, which made me a little uncomfortable. But sex was strange. And it's not like he had some fetish. There's not like there was something weird he did in bed, but I just felt this disconnect. And when I addressed him about it, he said very boldly, well, every girl I've ever been has told me I was the best sex of their life. Okay. And I was like, okay, that's the problem, is that you have such a huge ego about how you please these other women, whenever that was. that you're not really listening to me and you're not hearing me. I will never forget calling my mom on the phone and telling her all of these reasons why I thought he would be such a good partner for me. But there was one thing I didn't like. I didn't like how he made love. And I also, to be very frank, I didn't like his penis. I didn't like how it was. And my mom laughed at me and she said, I don't mean to laugh. She said, but sex is very important. You have to like a man about as much as you like his penis and vice versa. So I don't want you to think like sex is the only important thing, but it is really important. Have you ever had a guy that had like a really nice piece, but he didn't really know how to use it? He wasn't passionate or he was like feminine in bed? I've also heard stories. Recently, I heard of a celebrity who said they had a back problem and they met a girl who liked being on top. And, she could really like go crazy, as he said, on top of him. And I'm like, would that work for me forever? Always being on top? Like, is that what I want? So you have maybe met a great guy and things feel good, things are flowing, but there's just something off with the sex. Now, I want you to think about this. There are going to be men in your life that you will have mind blowing sex with. You will have crazy chemistry with them, that it will be incredible sex, but they won't be able to do the relationship part. There's going to be this imbalance with some of these men. So the goal is sex is important to me. I want to enjoy sex. Maybe it's not important to you. You have to find a partner that it is also not as important to them. There has to be this nice harmony in the relationship about sex. But as much as possible, find someone that you have a similar sex drive, a similar interest, but they can also provide, pursue, and maintain. These are those three important factors I talk about. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about sex is like you can really be into a person sexually and not be able to have that good relationship with them. And then you meet a good guy. He's got most of the things you want in life, but the sex isn't like those amazing guys you once knew. So there's a difference between chemistry and actually I'm able to have a long-term sexual relationship with you that grows, that evolves, that changes. You might go through periods where or different seasons where you're not as sexually into each other, but it kind of never goes away that you love each other and you want to get back into bed with each other. So there have been times with my husband and I that we take breaks unknowingly to us, but then we just rev it back up again. And so that is really how a relationships works. It's this expansion and contraction. You cannot base it on a few sexual experiences or a couple of men you had in your life. All right. So with that said, if you're falling in love with a man and he checks all the boxes, but sex isn't there, and if sex is important to you, I really suggest you keep your options open unless you are willing to have that sort of relationship where the sex is not fulfilling. I believe sex is incredibly, incredibly important in a relationship. Um, let's see if a couple of people have said that they don't want to have, sex before they become committed or before they have a relationship. I'm going to share this one. This might be triggering for some of you who have had sexual abuse. But she said, I've had past sexual abuse and rapes, and you don't want to have sex with that person or a new person because of your past. So this is a really good indicator for here's what I want in life. I know I want to have a sexual relationship with someone. I know I want to be married. I know I want to be wife, but my past, I'm still hurt and feeling pain from my past. I can't move forward. So how's that going to work? You're going to have to focus on finding some modalities and some methods to help you heal. And I know that's very easily said, but they're out there. Whether that's taking baby steps, let me get to the part where I talk about pain. Whether that's taking baby steps in therapy, working with different, working with a sex therapist and things like this, that is out there for you. I want you to get to a place of feeling comfortable because it's a huge part of life. It's a wonderful part of life. It has been said it's the thing that keeps humans sane. Abraham said, "This is so true. It's important to have a satisfying sexual connection." One last thing about that before I move on. There's really, really craving sex with a guy and sex, sex, sex. I want sex and he's so hot and I can't get enough of him. And then there is love. And I have had men in my life where I could not get enough of them in bed. But what I really wanted was love. And my sex drive kept revving me in that direction. But what I really was wanting was more love. And I remember once with one boyfriend really saying, I can't get enough of you. And he says, "Well, what is it that you can't get enough of?" And I was trying to really figure out what it was. And it was this moment of tenderness that we were having when we were intimate in bed, not wasn't happening in other places in life. So just be aware of all of this. This is about identifying what you want. Now, I kind of skipped over this part, but it is the most important part, which is to know specifically what it is you want. Now, we're not creating a very specific list that's going to have absolutely everything you want in a partner. That's not very practical or realistic. But I want you to think about the things that are the most important things to you, such as sex, such as money, such as pain, things like this. Let me keep going a little further here. A really important part of life is how fast someone moves. If you are more of a fast moving person, and then you get a guy who takes him an hour to get on his shoes, comb his hair, get out the door, or you say, "Hey, I need help with this project. When can we do this?" And he's like, "I don't know, maybe next month." Or he just has this power struggle agenda going on with you. I've actually had professional power struggles with people where I've been asking them to do something and they keep putting it off because they didn't want to do it. And they wanted to do it on their time or they just didn't want to do it at all. And finally, when it was time for them to do it, they did it like this. There's either a power struggle there or you have a person that is moving at a different time and space as you. They may eat slower, they may move too fast. So my first husband, incredibly slow. I was always like, "Hurry up, just to get out of the car." It took him forever. Now I have a husband that moves almost a little bit too fast. And I find if anything, I get anxious because he's moving so quickly sometimes. Know how fast or slow a person moves. Is it important to you? Now, another thing is one of you must make money. One of you has got to make money. If you marry an artist and you love how creative and artistic he is, or he's a massage therapist, or he's a yoga teacher, or whatever, one of you has got to make money. All right. He may make money sometimes, but he's not going to be making that regular income you're making, and vice versa. So recently, I worked with a couple that both of them were artists, both of them were painters, and they loved each other very much, but they weren't making money. And so they were having this conflict in the relationship about money because one of them needed to make money and neither of them were willing to sacrifice their career. I do wish artists were paid a lot more money and this was something much more valued in life, but it is what it is. Money is a fact. Money is a real thing that provides for you and your family. Also, be aware of how a man spends money on things like for his house, his pets, things like this. You might meet a wonderful man, and then when you have children with him, he doesn't believe in buying these children new clothes. He believes, like my dad, he would buy clothes that were several sizes too big for us so we could wear them like with a belt or, just wear them baggy until we grew into them. And a lot of times, by the time I grew into my clothes, they were worn out. I couldn't even wear them anymore. So again, money, very important because I can tell you this, a lot of the reason my mom married my dad, I think had a lot to do with that sexual compatibility, but there were some other things missing. So you have to have this balanced. You have to understand the important things that work for you. I'm going to talk about pain now. This is a serious one. I want you to stop what you're doing and really listen to me here. Something painful has happened to you in your life. Think about what it may be. It maybe has been a couple of different things, but they might fall into very particular categories. Tragedies, something very unexpected happened, an accident, a abuse has happened, something has happened in your life, an illness that has really rocked you to your core. It happens to all of us. The longer we're here, the more those things will happen to us in different forms, some big, some small. What has happened to you in your past? Let's say you watched your mom get abused by your dad or her boyfriends, and you swore, when I get married, I am never ever going to marry an abuser. So you set out and you find a man who is not abusive, but he can't hold down a job. Or you say, I'm never going to marry a man who's a bum on the couch. My dad was a bum on the couch, and my mom worked from sunup to sundown, and he did nothing but stay home and get high. I'm not going to marry anybody like that. So you set out to find a very clean cut, hardworking guy who never has time to give you love and attention. So your pain is leading you in a direction to find what you want. You're going about it from a place of what I don't want. Now, I do have some models that I help you follow in New Man Manifesto, such as, no addictions. I want to attract a loving, high quality man who wants a loving, long lasting relationship with a woman who has no addictions of any kind, who is healthy in body, mind, spirit. I have some things like this that I teach you in New Man Manifesto. But more than that, what do you not want? And is it taking precedence? I worked with a client not too long ago that her dad was sexually abusive to one of her siblings. So her big thing in finding a partner was just finding a man who was never going to do that to her children. And she ended up finding a man that had some other problem because her focus was on this one thing. That was the big thing for her. So your pain, if you really want to get to know someone, find out what their big pain in life was. And it can also flip sometimes. You can meet someone who was abused as a child and they're like, I never want to abuse a child. I don't want to abuse anyone or anything, but they end up doing it anyway. Or you meet a guy who his dad left, when he was 10 years old and was cheating on his mom. And he said, I never wanted to do that. Never want to cheat on anybody. But he does the same damn thing in the relationship. That pain point will haunt you because you're going, this is what I don't want. And that's what really manifestation and law of attraction is about. Not about so much what you don't want, but what you do want. So now that I've talked about the big three, which is sex, money, and pain, I want you to zoom back here. And as you're crafting the relationship you want, either with a man you're currently with, or a man you want to call forth into your life, or the type of life you want to create for yourself, whether it's your career, health goals, financial goals, whatever it is, we've got to find out how it's going to feel for you. You have to be able to envision how it is going to feel. I worked with a client not too long ago that she was having some money problems, but she was looking for a job. And I said, okay, visualize walking in to your interview, or you're working at this place even. What does it feel like? She goes, oh, I see myself in this beautiful knit suit, but I know I can never afford a knit suit like that. And I said, oh, really? Like, have you looked? Sure enough, she got curious. She went online, she looked, she found a knit suit that was within her budget that she could buy, and walked into that interview as if she already worked for that company. So often we shut ourselves off from what we could be feeling in life, especially with a relationship, because we're so concerned about what we can't have and what didn't work and what we don't want. When you open up your dating app, where's your energy? I'm about to have fun practicing. I'm about to meet some great guys. I want to have fun with this. I want to attract and call forth a fun, loving, warm individual and see where things go. So adjust your energy and see what's stopping you from living that dream and getting that dream. Pick out your wedding dress. Get an idea of where you want to have your ceremony. I have a very popular video where I talk about how I got married. I think I'm wearing the same top. And every day I would walk this park and I would visualize my wedding march and walking up that hill. And I start to cry every time I think about it because you cannot imagine. I was at the lowest of low emotionally. And I was marching up that hill knowing my husband was waiting for me. And I would walk up the hill to this beautiful clearing. I would look into his eyes. I would see him say, I do. I would say, I do. The ring would get put on my finger and I would be married. About 9 months later, to maybe about a year, I got married in that same spot and it happened so organically. Jeff, the man I loved, we had some on again, off again, but he came back around, told me he wanted to get married and wanted to claim me. And when the time came for us to get married, we were walking in that park. And I was like, oh my gosh, what if we got married here? He said, this would be a great place. And these things will just happen, but you have to get in alignment with how they feel. So let's talk about some of those ways to get in alignment. Let's talk about how you're going to do this. Some ones that I really love and I teach in New Man Manifesto is to wear a wedding ring on your hand. Now, don't wear it out in public if you think you're going to meet a guy, but wear it around the house. And how does it feel to be a married lady? How does it feel to just, fold your laundry or clean your bathroom? And I'm a married woman. How do you walk and talk differently? How do you hold yourself up when you're married? How does it feel in your body? So you're getting into that energy. The other one is any type of conversation you can have with your partner. Set the table for two when you eat. Sit there and have your dinner with your imaginary husband right in front of you. I have had this work with so many women. What do you talk about? What sort of meals do you eat together? How does this conversation feel? I used to have mine while I was in the shower because, I was really busy and I'd talk to my husband through the shower and we'd talk about our day. And again, a lot of that manifested in an amazing way. So let's talk about some things that I want you to keep in mind. I've talked about setting the table for two, wear a wedding ring, plan date nights, plan date vacations or married vacations. This one is a really fun one because choose an activity that you like to do, whether it's hiking or biking or roller skating or just going to the beach, and go with your husband. Go with your forever guy. What do you talk about? What happens when you're there? Does he pack the cooler? What sort of things do you eat together on your snack time? And, you know, think about these things and live that life, create that life as if it's happening. All right. A vision board, I'm kind of against and for vision boards because sometimes, like, how can you possibly manifest what may happen to you? Like, if you would have told me I was going to be a feminine energy dating and relationship coach, 12 years ago, I would have never believed that. But things start to happen when you get something on your vision board that is what you want, such as your wedding dress, your venue, um, qualities that you desire in your partner. Qualities are such an important part of this. Uh, you might think you want a man with perfectly straight teeth, for example. But why do you want perfectly straight teeth? What about his perfectly straight teeth is so wonderful and feels so good to you? Again, another story about my husband and I is when I first met him on the dating profile. One of his pictures, he's smiling really big, but I was like, is he missing a tooth in that picture? And I zoomed a little closer and I was like, I don't know about this guy. I need to date somebody who has all their teeth, you know? And a very good guy friend of mine said to me, he said, everybody has one bad tooth. You got one bad tooth, you got that pinky toe on your foot that, goes over the other toe. Everybody's got something, right? And I was like, well, can I date a guy who's kind of missing a tooth? Well, when I met him, I found out it was a baby tooth. And then later, we got, together more. I said, have you, ever thought about fixing that tooth? You got a beautiful smile otherwise. And he said, yeah, it's really bothered me my whole life. I said, okay, let's look into getting you a dental implant. Well, we looked into it a little bit, but the more I got to know him, the more I realized I liked him this way. I loved him this way. He has a little baby tooth here. And again, I start to cry because I think about just how insensitive I was to just how he showed up in life. And what if he was that insensitive with me? What if he was like, you got too many freckles on your neck? Have you ever thought about getting them removed? How would that feel to me? So now I have a very loving name for him. It's Little Toothy. I call it Little Toothy. And he smiles and I'm like, there's Little Toothy. And I love Little Toothy. I don't want Little Toothy to change because it is part of my husband. Now, one day when he gets older, my Little Toothy might get weak and it might come out. I understand that. We'll say goodbye to Little Toothy. But how many times have you even seen celebrities? I notice this happens more in the United States than it does like in the UK or Europe, where actors, they start off with these teeth that are like unique, and then they get that perfect smile, and they're not the same person. There is an actor and comedian named Cole Escola, and Cole Escola has got just this beautiful smile, but it isn't your standard perfect teeth all straight in a row. It's unique. It makes him very special. And please, please keep your teeth the way they are. If you want to make improvements for your bite or something like that, or it's for you, do it. I also think of David Bowie in the 80s. David Bowie had like almost like vampire teeth to me. And I just remember being a kid thinking it was cool. And then later, here come the veneers. Now, maybe, he lost his teeth. Maybe something happened. I don't know. And veneers are fine if they're what you want, but you get what I'm saying. Like loving a person just the way they show up. If you like to volunteer and volunteering and giving back is something important to you, go volunteer. And if that's what you want in a partner, like that would be the type of thing he does too. You'll probably meet a bunch of women, to be honest. Most men, I don't meet a lot of men when I'm volunteering, but sometimes the outdoor stuff you will, like gardening and things like this. But consider volunteering and doing that where you can imagine doing those activities together, even if you're gardening in your own backyard. Now, here's a big one: pets. Are pets and animals important to you? Would you stop your car to rescue a dog on the highway? I know I would. Once when I was a kid, I crossed 2 lanes of traffic to get a dog. By the grace of God, I survived and I saved that dog's life. That is who I am. Could you be with a man who's like, I've never owned a dog. They're okay. I'm not really an animal person. Know what you want in your partnership. Know how that heart feels to you. It's not that the two of you need to be this perfect match because he maybe never has owned a dog and he's always wished he could. Just get that heart alignment and how you want it to feel. If you're petting your cat one day, how would it feel to pet your cat with your husband sitting next to you? You see how we're opening up your heart chakra, we're opening up your heart center, we're getting you in touch with how things really feel in your life. The last one I'm going to talk about is morning rituals. I used to be kind of about morning rituals because I have a lot of masculine energy and I'm like, the morning you get things done. But I have since slowed down and began to understand the importance of my morning rituals. Don't get me wrong. Some mornings I still do first thing in the morning, turn on my cell phone. I know it's terrible and I am preaching to you to not do that. But when you establish a morning routine that starts your day out in a healthy way, it can reflect the rest of your day, your energy, your mood, your psychology, the choices you make. It really does establish you. I think that's why morning prayer was such an important part of human history for so long. So I will share a link below to it's on the Insight Timer. There is a morning, a 5-minute gratitude. And I know what you're thinking, gratitude. I had a similar thing, but this girl has got such a powerful uh, 5-minute morning gratitude routine. I have to share it with you all. I'm not an affiliate or anything like that. But some things I do is I listen to that meditation in the morning. It's 5 minutes. When before my feet touch the bed, I say something positive to myself. Today's going to be a great day. Something magical is going to happen today. I am in love with this moment. I am so happy to be alive. Think of something positive you can say to yourself. And please, please, please start your day not by looking at that phone, but by going out and getting some sunshine. And if you can, turn your face up towards the sun and really let that sun soak in. Now, put sunscreen on your face, but your arms and your legs. Try to get some of that sun on your body first thing in the morning. You'll sleep better at night. You'll feel better throughout the whole day. All right, I'm going to take some of your questions. I think I've covered everything I wanted to talk about. I'm going to go through a couple of Q&A. And again, for those of you who want to wait and have sex until you're married, I'm not here to struggle with you on whether it's religious or personal or whatever. It's just really important that you are sexually compatible, not just in how we do it, not in just how often we do it, but like we have a similar intensity and interest in things like this because, sexual interest waxes and wanes. We're expanding and contracting. This is going to happen. How are you going to get through those times? Do you connect emotionally? There's some important things that I want you to think about in that regard. Okay. I'm going to take a couple of questions. Sex can be awkward if the woman isn't emotionally connected to the man, at least in my experience. Anyone have a similar experience? For sure. Who's to say that sex can't lead to emotional connection? And do you need to have emotional connection in order to have sex? Or if you have sex with someone, do you just like fall in love with them and they're all you think about? So you got to be knowing what you can and can't do and be honest with yourself. So when you buy my courses, I have a free ebook called Sex, Sex, Sex. I talk about some little ways you can get by with this. Um, you know, I'm the type of girl that I'm a little bit of a prude, but I really have to know you and be able to trust you to begin experimenting with sex with you. I am not someone fast that I had girlfriends, in college and they're going home with strangers and I'm just mortified and horrified of this. There's just no way that I could do that, but there are people who can. All right. Um, the problem is men are walking away from the modern woman. The juice isn't worth the squeeze anymore. I wish I knew what you meant by that. I don't, though. Before I met my husband, I would self-sabotage. I'd push decent guys away because I was already expecting the worst. Exactly. We're wondering and we're looking for that one red flag. So remember, the purpose of the brain and your nervous system is like protect me, protect me, protect me. It's constantly looking for ways to protect you. You cannot turn that off. What you can do is choose what you listen to. Again, anything that you give a lot of your attention to, you're going to get more of it. So we have to start looking for the things that we really want in a partnership and how it will feel. And then you start to see these things pop up, and you also get really aware of like, I don't want this thing. Okay, this guy, he makes a great living, 6 figures. He's got a good car, a savings account, but there's some other things. So you see how you can get laser focused on that one thing you want. I also want you to be able to see the other things that you do want in a partnership and believe you're worth it. You can have these things. A lot of women, I'm going to do a podcast interview with my mom as soon as she's feeling better about like, nobody ever told her, like, you can find a guy that has qualities that you really want, not just a couple qualities. Like with my dad, there was, attraction and warmth, and he was sweet, and he was really into astronomy and could be a very warm, loving person. But he had this dark, abusive side that would come out that we believe was about mental illness. Mental illness he wouldn't treat. That's a damn deal breaker. You can be amazing, but you got this thing. This is the same is true when women come to me and they are dating a married man. I'm like, you're just sabotaging your future. And what you're telling the universe is never going to work because it's not in alignment with what you want. Because he's married. It's very simple to me. Hi, Adrienne. I've been married for 1 year. We didn't have a ceremony. Am I still able to manifest a ceremony? My husband is not interested in having one, but I'm missing out on that. I feel you on that. I feel your energy that, like, this is something I wanted. What about it do you want? The attention, the public celebration, having friends and celebrating that we love each other and we want everybody to know and here have some cake on us. Have this party on us. Is your husband the type of guy that is socially avoidant? Does he kind of socially avoid? He doesn't like parties. He's a little afraid of stuff like that. Sense him a little bit of that. Let me know. Answer me below, Chapas. Here's a cute question. My boyfriend completely stays quiet when we get mad at one another and doesn't really like to talk about things afterwards and just wants to move on. It's hard for me to not get emotional and give him some space. Here's why. You're in your boy energy and you're like, we got to solve this now. Case closed. Another case solved. That's your energy. You're in that mode. And you got to be willing to be like, okay, he's going to shut up. I'm going to shut up. Because if I'm talking and he shut up, he's not going to suddenly go, okay, you're right. I'm going to start talking to you about this for an hour. Not going to happen. You got to know when to give it up. You got to know when to let it go. Cut it off, let it go. You are not going to remember. I'm going to challenge you. Can you remember the last 5 times that happened? Can you even remember what these arguments were about? Maybe some of them, if it's recurring, but chances are you can't. Know when to let it go. You're going to have such a better life. Just let it go. When it starts going in that downward spiral, just stop. Just stop. Bail. Let him figure it out. Move on with your rich, juicy, beautiful life. Thank you so much, Selena. When I was talking about my husband's little toothy, she said, I love that. Everyone has something that's off, but it's uniquely them. That's what makes us. And ladies, the things that you think are your flaws, the things you think that are like wrong with you, is the thing your man loves about you. Look, I went my whole life thinking I had the biggest, fattest butt. Who could ever love my butt? I would dress to hide my butt. Now they're like the most popular thing in the world to have is a big butt. And it just, you're going to find the right guy. He's going to love the things that you think are flaws or your insecurities. He's going to love you for them. And if he judges you for them and he's like, you need to hit the gym, girl. I'm seeing some cellulite. Oh my goodness. I feel sad. Am I not taking care of myself? Am I not attractive to you? Because in real life, I'm going to get cellulite, baby. Right? Check him on that. Hope to God, any guy over the age of 19 is not saying that to you. All right. little side tangent I went off on right there. Brittany said, I feel like I'm being manipulated and controlled, like I'm under a microscope and I feel exhausted. I want to feel free and loved. Brittany, I want you to Google the following: controlling behaviors. Controlling behaviors. I want you to learn what controlling behaviors are. And if it starts to read like a book about the guy you're with an abusive, controlling type. I want you to do that. Okay, let's see. Chappus. Here's what I was right on. He is socially avoidant. All right, honey. So, he's socially avoidant. So I think the question would be, can we craft something that celebrates our love? Because I want to celebrate our love. I want to celebrate our love. I feel really strongly about this. I want everybody to know I love you and that you love me and we're together and this is important for me, baby, and I love you and I want the world to know, and I want to have this party. I want to have this party. And you can just stay inside, or you can DJ, or just stay for an hour. But I want to have this party. I love you. I want to have a little ceremony. And also, is this something that if you embraced it, my love, if you embrace this, I'm just curious, is this something that maybe one day you look back on and be proud that you did? Is it a tiny step we can take into making this happen? And you come of it from that place. Adrienne, can you please talk about dating a man with trust issues that came from the past? I think that's a line. I think that's a big, big way to go. Baby, I got trust issues. I can't love you. I can't be with you. I got trust issues. A woman cheated on me. A woman hurt me in the past. Here's my story. You need to be like, I hope you find a good therapist with that, honey. I'm moving on. Hope you find somebody to help you with that. Don't let his problems become your problems. Go to my Instagram grid. Find that image. It says, don't let his problems become your problems. Read the whole thing. Go to Google, type in Adrienne Everheart. Don't let his problems become your problems. Read my blog post about it. Men will make 1,000,001 variations of excuses where they're just like, oh, I'm hurt and I can't do this because I can't commit to you because I don't want to. A man will move mountains to be with the woman he wants to be with. He will walk through fire. He will swim oceans. He will climb mountains. He will move the mountains to be with you. Nothing will stop a man who wants to be with you, including eating a whole lot of crow, because that's what my husband did when he showed up. Hat in hand. I think I messed up. I love you. I want you. You see, just another excuse. Because you're not here to prove someone that they can trust you. It's just not how it works. Okay, last question. Genevieve, thank you so much for asking this. Not too long ago, I talked about how I got on Reddit and searched my name. And someone on Reddit said, cannot believe this horrible example I just saw on YouTube. It was with Helena Hart and Adrienne Everheart. And then I skim to the part about me, and it says the worst part of this video is Adrienne Everheart said that we need to talk from our vagina to men. I'm sorry, I'm not talking from my vagina to some man. And then she said, these women just put coach at the end of their name, and they're a coach and they're helping women. Well, here's the thing. I studied a lot to become who I am. I studied psychology and communication and feminine energy theory. I wish that would have existed, but gender issues and feminist issues in university. So I am well equipped. And also, I found a voice for myself. A lot of times in life, you don't have to have a PhD behind your name to have a voice and a message that reaches people. That's what makes this world so wonderful. Sometimes the best advice you get It's not from your doctor or even from a therapist. It's like you get it somewhere, okay? So that's what I'm here for. I'm just going to defend myself there just a little bit. So, how do we speak from our womb? Thank you for asking about this because it's really important. That place in your womb is a creative, living, breathing place. It's energy. Everybody on this planet is here because of that little organ you have in your body. Your grandma was once finding her way out of one. Your mother was in grandma's womb. You have a womb. Your children will come from this womb. This is a place of so much life and energy. And we just kind of take it for granted. I feel like maybe not everybody, but it is such a special thing to have as a woman. Don't take it for granted. All of that inner girl beauty and strength and allure and magnetism and power, it's right there. It's right there. So first thing I want you to do, get used to having one. Open it up in your mind. Open it up. Let it breathe. Observe it. Be grateful for it. Especially if you have like endometriosis or other problems like cysts or even cancer. I love this part of myself. If you have had your womb or your uterus or your ovaries removed, you still have this space inside of you. You have your birth canal and you have space there. This is where we receive from a man. So let that space loosen, relax, and find that peace, find that slowness. Can you all do that with me now? Just try to open that area up energetically. I also talk about taking your fingers and kind of just like placing them below your belly button and pulling apart a little bit. And you can like wiggle your spine a little bit and get that area loose and open. And now, if you were to think a thought like a word such as, "Hi, my name is Adrienne. So I'm going to go down to my womb. I'm going to put those words in there. And I'm going to let them come out. They're going to travel. Hi, my name is Adrienne." And you're feeling a different type of energy from me. So just practice speaking from that place, finding the energy, finding the power, and practice speaking from there. All right. Thank you for that question. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to have some links for you below. For those of you interested in manifesting, law of attraction, how this works, where your energy and your vibe's at, check out New Man Manifesto. I have a lot of self-study courses on my website. And I also have a private coaching community where I coach with you in the group privately, as well as 5 other magical coaches I have in there. And we do workshops and live classes. So I'll have all those links below. All right, I hope this has been helpful. I have certainly enjoyed being with you. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if it's helped you. I appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel, share it with a girlfriend, share it with someone that you think might appreciate this message. All right, everybody, may you get exactly what you want in life. Make sure you know what it is. Make sure you know how it feels and why it feels good and why you want it. And know what that pain place is. Because there's more to life than just avoiding that pain place. I know whenever I choke on my words, I just said something really important. So there's more to life than avoiding the pain place. Know the pain place. Know what it is you didn't like about it, but know what it is you do want in life. All right? All right, everybody. Mwah. Until next time. Bye-bye.